One. Arrival, Batwoman Beyond. And welcome, Neo Gotham, to Above and Batman Beyond, a YouTube series and podcast all about the futuristic Bat Beyond. I am your co-host, Benjamin David. Our show is brought to you by our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. That's youtube.com/above and Batman Beyond. Speaking of the channel, we are live here on YouTube. How's everybody doing? So today I'll be reviewing the newest of McFarlane Batman Beyond figures, and that is Batwoman Beyond. The Target exclusive figure just arrived a few days ago. So I'll be unboxing Batwoman with you guys right here on YouTube. If you're new here to the channel, again, please consider subscribing on YouTube. Click that notification bell so you don't miss any of our new content. And for the podcast listeners, please subscribe to the pod on your favorite podcast app. Please be sure to write us a 5-star review on Apple. Podcast takes just a minute or two, but that minute goes a very long way in helping our show be found by awesome listeners like you on Apple. So again, today we are reviewing the new McFarlane Batwoman Beyond figure. That is the Target exclusive Build-A-Figure, one of 4 total Batman Beyond figures to build the Future's End Joker bot. Since our show is here, since our show here is Beyond focused, we've been covering McFarlane figures extensively. And in fact, today is the last episode of our Collectibles Quadrilogy Beyond, 4 episodes all about collectibles. We had our Batman Day Beyond 2-parter with the Batman Day Beyond Funko Pops and 3 Jokers. Then last week was Target Fall Geek Out, also featuring Batwoman here. And then this week is our Batwoman review. And then next week we're switching gears. If you are like collectibled out, I understand, to Fandom, of course, covering Fandom. And then Batman Beyond comics for a few weeks after that. Subscribe to our other pods here in the channel. We have the DCAMs, the DC Animated Movie Show. And then, of course, DC Collecticast, talking action figures and collectibles from the DC Universe. If you don't already, please follow us on Instagram. We are at Batman Beyond Media, where you can find plenty of Beyond coverage. All right, all you Batmen and women. Let's try that again for the pod. All right, all you Batmen and women of Neo Gotham, let us review the Batwoman Beyond Build-A-Figure. All right, let's do it. So guys, once again, this is going to be a live unboxing. I'm going to try to be a little chatty through it so it's not boring to watch. Let's make sure our background here stays alive. Yep, we're good. All right, let's do it. So once again, this came out, we just got it a few days ago. It was actually supposed to drop in August. It's October 12th, recording this on YouTube. So like, yeah, it came a bit late, but a lot of these did. In fact, Blight was actually supposed to come by October. And if any of you, by the way, have any pre-order stories or horror stories, preferably. No, I'm just kidding. But although Target is exclusive for that. But yeah, if you guys, anybody in chat has any experience, let me know. But I have not had this in hand yet. You are looking at, let's get it into camera here. There it is. Went up on 6/29, June 29th, according to my email order. Target.com only. It was a Target exclusive again. Again, originally supposed to come in August. Estimated arrival was between 10/6 and 10/11, according to the emails, and then it arrived October 5th. $24.99 and then $33.15 after shipping, which my co-host on DC Collecticast LT always tells me, get the Target card. Because if you get the Target card, you don't get charged for shipping. But if Benjamin gets the Target card, might not be a good idea because he might get too many figures from Target. That's what's going to happen with that Target card. Yeah, so the rest of the Batman Beyond line, we had Terry McGinnis Batman. That came out in March. We had Shriek, then Batwoman here, and then Blight figures the finishes. The New 52 Joker's End Build-A-Figure. This is Joker so far, from the waist up. Got his arms from Shriek. Got the torso and spinning head. As you can see, it's... Whoa! Best thing to ever happen is the bionic arm falling off live. That's why we go live. But one-handed, you can see the Batman and Joker head spin because it's the Joker bot from New 52, which we all love so much. We can totally see why you did that. We're going to pick up that. We're going to go ahead and pick up that arm later. Everyone likes to say that now. Go ahead and pick up this arm later for whatever reason. So because it is a Build-A-Figure, a live unboxing is good the new studio is still confusing me camera-wise. Here is the camera. So packaging here, because again, because it is a Build-A-Figure, I like to do live unboxings because you can see the legs that are now part of the one-armed man that is Joker Bot. But yeah, the with this Build-A-Figure with Batwoman comes the legs to the Joker Bot. And you can see on the back with all the Build-A-Figures, they do. Where's my hand? There it is. Joker at the bottom, and then you can see the diagram in the middle up there, and they kind of break it down per Build-A-Figure piece. And they also show you, as up here with the legs. This picture on the back of Batwoman descending in on Joker Bot and kicking him, and not Batman in the face, but it kind of looks like that. Oh, and Shriek's in there too. That's also the collectibles card that comes inside this. I'm interested to open this because we talked about on DC Collecticast that we don't know whether or not Elena Grayson is this Batwoman. We're assuming. I mean, that's when the character was created was in the Rebirth comics last year, and boy, did I lament about that. This is kind of our Batwoman Beyond 2 weeks in a row. Because again, last week was Target Fall Geek Out. So we talked a lot about Batwoman. I probably went on maybe 20 minutes more than I would have wanted to. But I was not a fan. Point is, she came out last year in Rebirth Comics. I would have been a fan of the idea of Batwoman. I love it. Female character, badass, whatever. But the way they did it in Beyond was just, I wasn't a big fan of it. But yeah, let's do it. For packaging, do I have? Yes, I do. So here's the packaging of Shriek. I just wanted to compare packaging. They're pretty much about the same width as you can see here on the camera because they are Build-A-Figure. This was Shriek with the arms just fell off of New 50 of Joker Bots himself, and then again the legs come with Batwoman. So I just kind of wanted to compare that. It probably would have been a little more interesting to look at something that's not the same, which would have been less single carded because Shriek and Batman came single carded after the exclusive. So the Target exclusives were the Build-A-Figures, and then the non-exclusives were single carded. We don't know, I don't think yet, if we're getting a single carded Batwoman. We're assuming. But yeah, let's open this bad boy, and then as I open it, that'll be my time to lament a little more about Batwoman because I got to keep my mind occupied while I'm doing something. So yeah, again, introduced toward the end of Rebirth, issue 37 in the Rebirth comics, which were from, Rebirth itself was 2016 up until about 2019 or so when it switched over to DC Universe. But the point is, yeah, the Rebirth run of Batman Beyond, as it were, is issue 37. She was introduced. It ended December 2020. So she was introduced, I believe, like November 2019. She's there for like 13 issues. And, first it's Elena Grayson, Dick Grayson's daughter. My biggest beef with the character. Before we get into anything, it's like, your Batwoman's going to be the daughter of a former sidekick. You know, with female characters, call it woke, I don't care. It's like, because I do my best not to just take stances on these things, especially not being a woman. But it's like, I think with female characters, you should... I like the idea of Batgirl really works, believe it or not. It's strikes out on her own, kind of does a little extra. Batwoman is like completely, yes. I mean, her father was military. In some versions, you do have the cousin of Bruce Wayne, but I don't prefer that, and cousin's kind of far removed. It's not like a daughter. It's not like the most obvious form of legacy you can do. Now, this might be hypocritical. I wouldn't have minded a son being a Robin. Like, I didn't love Robin Beyond, which was Matt McGinnis, Terry's little brother, but I didn't have so much of a problem with it. I don't know if it's because of the boy-girl thing, but I really feel like that takes so much away to have it be Dick Grayson's daughter, especially as a sidekick. I don't know, for whatever reason because if it's Batwoman, it's not just because it's like the age thing, but that presumes that it's not just like, it's not going to be a sidekick. She's her own thing. And even though Batgirl was technically a sidekick, like, once again, struck out, did her own thing. I don't know, man. I just, and then beyond that, I didn't mean to do that, but yeah, it's the worst part of Rebirth for me was, it's like future Batman. I was saying this last episode. It's future Batman. You want to do Batman in space, fine. But first of all, I'm supposed to buy that these Batsuit Beyonds were space ready. And sorry about the sound here real quick. I just got a Band-Aid right off this. If you want me to buy that, the Batsuit Beyond this whole time was space ready. I mean, they do write it in. They're like, okay, limited time she has, or they have, in space. But it's still like, all right, I'll buy that. But then when her hair, like in the figure here, is coming out the back, in the space suit? You couldn't have put the bubble dome on her head? Like, wow, bro. I couldn't take that. And the fact that Blight, she goes up, they give her Blight as the big bad. That might actually be the worst. Because, that's just kind of sci-fi nerdy stuff. Maybe you could argue with the hair. You could say want to be woke if you want, fine, with the female thing and the Dick Grayson thing, legacy thing. But I don't know. It's just too much when you have that many things going on against it. I can't take it anymore. That's basic storytelling. Like, Blight Powers is Robin's Joker. So don't give some Batwoman we've known for 5 minutes, the big bad of Joker. It's like, that's not, Terry needs to face Blight. Yes, I know it's the end of Rebirth, but it's like, I don't know. It's just I couldn't believe they gave Blight to Batwoman. And it's one thing, like, maybe they go up against it. All right, the new character is like, I'm skipping through this YouTube video so that we have a different background here. I got to figure out my TV background setup here. I promise after this video we will. But it's like, I just don't understand. There it is. How, like, that's simple storytelling. You're wrapping up Rebirth, have Blight, have Terry come back and fight Blight. Anyway, here she is. Again, 7-inch McFarlane exclusive Target, Batwoman Beyond. Before we get into anything right away, I will say appearance-wise, I was not a fan. I am not a fan. You actually see it. Yeah, she's right up there on the screen. The bat symbol beyond, what I always loved about it is that it goes like up almost all the way to the shoulders, this big red and blazoned, symbol, emblem. We've all seen it. And it's one of the things iconic to Beyond. Now, in the comics, you could see, and yes, I know it's harder to, oh, now the video is playing, sorry. I'm giving up on this. But it's like, you can, it's just I understand why it was difficult to bring this into 3D, whereas you can see in the comics there, it's like the symbol goes all the way up her chest. Point is, it's a woman, and it's hard to get with a female body, boobs, all right? What I'm saying, kids, is boobs are in the way. No, but it's like, if that's like your limitation there, I understand that, but I don't know, figure it out, because the symbol goes all the way down to her belly button, as you can see there. I don't know, if you couldn't figure it out, don't do that. Like, it's the symbol of the bat as part of the whole thing, and striking fear into people with your symbology, all that stuff. So I have a big beef with that right off the bat. Woman, Beyond. But yeah, I don't know. That aside, I will say, taking this out, I don't love it. The joints, it seems a little loose. I mean, I don't know. The McFarlane articulation, I just want to not like it, as you guys can tell. I just really don't want to like it. But let me try to be fair for a second here. I do like the belt. They really give her, I mean, that's straight out the comics, which is an adaptation of the kind of the original, of course it all is, the original animated series belt, where you have the gray patch squares and the iconic red circle, adapted a little bit because they put the points of it into that. Sculpt is good enough. I do like, again, trying to be fair, the things that they sculpt into it. I don't like the sculpt of her boots. Yeah, all right, let me just go in on this thing. I cannot stand the shoulders. Look at those shoulders. That looks like a prom dress from 1992. Poofy shoulders. What is happening there? I'm failing so hard on this video background thing. But yeah, it's just like, I don't understand how these shoulders, I don't recall in the comics the shoulders looking like this, okay? I mean, what is happening there? We talked about, when we were in the pre-orders on DC Collecticast for Target Fall Geek Out, that LT pointed out something interesting. I'm so used to it at this point, but her eyes are a little bit like venomy, whereas like for the audio, the white in the eyes go up like real pointy. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Beyond Comic experts here, that is a carried over change in the Rebirth suit. So about halfway through Rebirth, they changed the suit a little bit, adapted it. I didn't mind the change necessarily, the idea of it, but I think with that, some design things came that are kind of meh. Okay. So let me just finish sculpt here, and then I'll give it a break, and then we'll talk about some of the other stuff like the accessories, which I do like, and the card, and then we'll get back to articulation and paint. But yeah, the sculpt of the hair, I don't mind the hair. I think it's too. The problem is design-wise. I don't like the fact that they gave her red hair just like Barbara Gordon. She steals the bat suit just like Terry McGinnis. So much of this character just seemed lazy. So I think the hair itself is sculpted okay, but I don't know. I just couldn't stand that from the comics. Whether that's fair to give to McFarlane, I don't know. What I will slam them for is these shoulders, though. Like, McFarlane, what the hell was that? And if it is from the comics and I missed that, then Jesus. I don't like the boots. I mean, they sculpt these boots onto her, which, yeah, I guess are kind of like, they're feminine. Maybe that, once again, is from the comics, but they don't look too functional or like they would be part of a Batman Beyond suit. They look more fashionable over function, and I think this suit, yeah, I mean, sure, it's a female suit, but I don't know. I keep saying, this is me trying to be nice, but the rest of it looks fine sculpt-wise. I mean, McFarlane always does detail's never a problem with McFarlane. Like, even the little, while I might not like a lot of this in general, just lines that he'll cut into it, and it gives it almost texture, folding, to evoke folding, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think so much of this, again, is just the design of the character, and that then contributes to me not liking the sculpt, because the sculpt is obviously an adaptation of that. So let's take out the accessories, and then we're going to read the card that comes with it, and then we'll get back to articulation and paint. I don't know, I just wish, I think the character of Batwoman is being underserved across the board. Like, you'll hear in an episode that we have coming up, one of the jokes I made was like, that show, I don't understand how they can't figure out that show, because how is it so hard to make a batsuit wearing army brat lesbian interesting? Like, everything about that is interesting. How is that hard to make interesting? All right, sorry about the sound here. You're going to hear me cutting this open. But yeah, Batwoman has gone back to the old 50s comics. Like, that's an old character, and it should be. Like, even when it was like the cheesy Bat family, when it was literally like family portraits and stuff, she still should be part. And if she's not, that's fine too. But like, if you're going to do it, and you chose to do Batwoman Beyond, like, I doubt anyone was really twisting anyone's arm on that, unless, of course, I guess there's agendas, especially related to that kind of thing, but there shouldn't have to be. And I don't think that was that. I'm not gonna put that on DC to be like, oh yeah, there was an agenda to make a Batwoman. And even if there was, like, I don't know. To an extent with superheroes, it's a touchy subject, and I don't want to go too deep into that. But you see where I'm going with it. That, like, I don't have a problem with them saying, let's do a Batwoman Beyond. Just do it right, dude. I mean, it's so lazy to make her, again, just the blood daughter of somebody else. Also, that she couldn't, so she was having problems like using the Batsuit, because obviously she doesn't know how to use this super high-tech thing that apparently is ready for space. But she is able to hide it from Bruce Wayne, the greatest detective in the world. Now, like, I couldn't even remember those comics. I've read them twice recently, and I still kind of couldn't remember how they tried to explain that away, because they were forgettable. But it's just, as you can tell, I like the Rebirth comics, especially the Batwoman run. I just didn't buy any of that. And like, however they tried to sell it to me, wasn't buying it. So before we get into the Build-A-Figure stuff, again, accessories. We got the 2 Batman Beyond Batarangs. I absolutely love these. These came with the single-carded Batman Beyond. I was a little annoyed they didn't come with the exclusive. It was only that really small one, but yeah, the classic Batarang Beyond. So it comes with 2 of those, and then it comes with an extra set of hands, non-claw hands. So it's like semi-open, and I'm assuming these are to hold the Batarangs. Yep, that's the regular hand, if you can see that. All right, so we have in total two sets of hands. And again, to kind of compare it, I showed you before, but if you didn't see, they're kind of clawed hands again on the regular figure. So now let's hit the card and find out if, in fact, you can see how enthusiastic Ben is about Elena Grayson, Batwoman Beyond, who this Batwoman is, according to McFarlane. So again, this card matches the back of the box, as it always does with the McFarlanes. Batwoman, Batman Beyond. It says Batwoman, Batman Beyond. It's a little confusing. Real name, Elena Grayson. When Batman, Terry McGinnis, disappears after losing his memory, this is exactly Rebirth. And this drove me nuts too, which we'll get back to the figure after this. If you were like, stop talking about the comics, you've already talked about this is annoying, stop bitching. It was just to fill time while I opened that, so there wasn't dead air, guys, okay? When Batman, Terry McGinnis, disappears after losing his memory and having his identity stolen by Falseface, yes, from Falseface from Batman 66, Falseface Beyond. Wowzers. So again, had his identity stolen by Falseface Dick Grayson. A daughter, Elena, tracks down the Batsuit and takes it for herself. Yep. Going against her father's wishes, and then becomes Neo Gotham's newest superhero, but does her best to keep her identity a secret from him. Oh yeah, and she's also able to keep that from Dick Grayson. I don't know, the third greatest detective in the world. Eventually her father, an older Dick Grayson, so he's probably better at it. Eventually her father finds out, but it's too late. The city has a new protector, Batwoman. And then by the time it all kind of matters, like from what I remember, Terry's back. I don't know. Anyway, there's another little shot at her, little snapshot of her at the top of the back where I was just reading from, and then it says data file. And for the audio, the front side it's like a trading card. All right, so the final thing here, and then again we'll get back to Elena herself, is actually let's finish up the figure and then we'll get to the Build-A-Figure. All right, so we did sculpt, which I was generally not a fan of, but again, a lot of that goes back to the design. So I will once again give McFarlane credit for the detail as always. Paint, I'm not seeing any problems paint-wise. I can't really complain. And they also tend to be pretty good. I mean, I guess I will say with the belt, this might be a little tricky, but you can see on this side over here where I'm pointing, guys, for video, there's a little bit of a paint problem there because it's light paint. So the belt is like light gray, and then there's black and red paint. There's a bit of a splotch, but I mean, honestly, I was just trying to look at it in the monitor. I can't even see it there. So it's probably looking for problems is what I'm saying. But you know, cameras don't always pick that up, and I am holding it right in front of my face, and there's a little, the gray is a little out. So I guess I can complain a little bit about a spot on the belt. But beside that, honestly, the Batwoman, what I do like, I don't like the emblem itself. We talked about that, how it doesn't fit onto her feminine body. It at least is raised, like the symbol of it's raised, so that paint-wise, that avoids a lot of problems because you just have two different pieces of plastic that are different colors and you put them together. So yeah, paint I do really like. Another potential problem would have been the Venom eyes up here, but her Venom looking eyes. But yeah, the white on black, they seem to really get that within the lines. So I'll give them that. Paint is good. So articulation, it's good. I don't know. Again, I'm probably looking for problems. Her ankles seem a little too loose, but once again, I probably don't want to give it credit. I do really like the knees. You can hear in the mic here. I'm going to put it up to the mic. Ton of articulation there, and the knees get like really tight too. I mean, they really lock. So for posability, clearly legs is like super important in terms of support and everything like that. Yeah, so split almost all the way sideways. We could split, of course, front ways. Let's see what our ab crunch situation is. All right, so she does have the one piece in the middle that's independent. So good ab crunch situation. I always do like to give them the backward bend too. And does a good bridge. Very flexible. Yeah, good posability. Again, I wanted a bitch, but arms are good too. We have full on wrist. You can hear the elbows too, so some good lockability, pop and lockability. Can't stand these shoulders, but they do articulate well. Full head turn. Probably swap out the heads. That would be funny to put Terry's head on here. Maybe more for my generation. That's not so much funny for people now. And then we have... yeah, it's good articulation, man. Oh, and I guess finally we should do the wings. So she's got her wings. They go full circle. You can see like this is one wing and it'll go all the way around. And then the arms, I should say the gauntlets up here, go into these holes that you can see I'll put up to the camera. And then so that she can hold her wings. I'm not going to do it right now, but that's the idea that, she holds her wings. If you could see Terry behind me, right in front of the old school TV, he's got his wings engaged. So yeah, articulation's good, man. And it's good for sculpting if you like this figure. To put it up, while we're on articulation, to put it up next to another figure, here's Terry. This is the exclusive Terry. No, non-exclusive Terry. Sorry, guys. So pretty much same height. Yeah, he's just such a better figure. I mean, she is lighter because it's... maybe that's what seems... with articulation I don't like as much. A lot of it is solid plastic, but I think because she's got the female form, she's just less plastic. Like, it's just physically smaller. Don't take that for what it's not. Just saying. So I don't know. Maybe that's why, but... yeah, it's still well articulated. Some other figures. We got Nightwing here. And the most recent Polka Dot Man, baby. We did a review of this. That's coming up on DC Collecticast. I know that's not a new figure at all, but nor is it a new movie. But it is our most recent live-action movie, so we had to cover it. Late or not. So let's get out. We need the legs for Jokerbot, baby. So as we pop him out, I'll talk about Jokerbot for a minute. And then right after that, we have got to be out because I have overextended my studio time here. I am very appreciative to have the studio, and I'm really hoping sound worked because if not, I've been on here for 28 minutes and sound has not worked. And I opened a figure. You can't open this again. I mean, I guess I could do another review, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so, sorry about the sound. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Jokerbot. I just don't understand because Future's End was not a popular run. Like, why would you... if you ask anyone who's read the Beyond comics, it's like, what's your least favorite run? I can almost promise you unilaterally it's going to be... in fact, I've done polls. Like, most people can't stand Future's End. So it makes no sense to me why it's like, that's who you chose. It's also like the Blight figure. We complain about that. It's like McFarlane just opened up, maybe not him himself, I don't know. But as a comics guy, it's surprising. It's like he opened up, where is Batwoman Beyond in the trade paperback? Oh, 3 pages later, she goes up against, Blight, or 3 stories later. So let's put the Blight suit that everyone can't stand from Rebirth. I don't know. Anyway, so here are the legs. I gotta say, not loving necessarily Jokerbot. I do love, or not New 52, Future's End. I do love kind of Jokerbot. I think he's kind of cheesy, but I mean, look at the detail on this. I'm a big fan of Cyborgs. I'm a big fan of Terminator. It's got a lot of, as you can see, like the Geiger-esque alien, almost Matrix-y. What are those things? Of course, now I can't remember. The Sentinels, with kind of like the biology meets cyborg stuff. So yeah, let's get these legs on. Oh, snap. The greatest thing is that with Blight, the only thing left is those Infinity War spider suit looking Spidey arms. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to get Blight because this guy can stand, baby. Oh, look how much taller he is from the other ones too. Damn, dude. Like Terry there is 7 inches and yeah, he's probably 9 altogether. Wow. They fit in great. Yeah, the legs are identical. So they both have that same design, which once again is like the inner upper thigh is a lot of that Sentinel looking stuff. And the outside of it is almost like the shield from the 89 Mobile, like hard plated metal, which makes sense because you have like veins on the inside and then armor on the outside. He's got that brother eye thing on his chest. Oh, Jokerbot, baby. As far as I'm concerned, complete. So closing thoughts. I don't know. I'm definitely not getting Blight. Now that Jokerbot's got his legs for the millionth time, I will say, I hate to put that in my closing thoughts. I'm more excited about the build of figure than the figure. I love that there's Batwoman. I just can't stand what they did in the comics. And again, so much of the design goes into the sculpt. Again, the shoulders, though, I got to look back. I can't stand these shoulders. It'll be fun to play with. I mean, I love anything beyond colored and design. It'll be cool to add her to the collection. I love supporting the line. But yeah, man, I'm more excited about the Build-A-Figure than the figure. All right, guys. So that, once again, has been my review for the Batwoman Beyond Target exclusive Build-A-Figure. If you're new here to the channel, again, please consider subscribing on YouTube. Click that notification bell so you don't miss any of our new content. For the podcast listeners, please subscribe to the pod on your favorite podcast app. Please be sure to write us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Takes just a minute or two, but that minute goes a very long way in helping our show be found by awesome listeners like you on Apple. If you don't already, please follow us on Instagram. We are at Batman Beyond Media, where you can find plenty of Beyond coverage. Again, check out this is the end of our collectibles quadrilogy, covering 2 days of Batman Day. We did the Funko Batman Beyond, which I have right down there, and we're going to do a review of that right here on YouTube, possibly a podcast, maybe a bonus podcast. But yeah, I got the Crouching Terry Hidden Schwanus Batman Beyond Funko Pop from Batman Day. Did not get Joker King, and unfortunately, though, I missed out. I wanted the soda, but I missed out. But anyway, we do have more of that coming, but podcast-wise, the collectibles quadrilogy is complete with Batwoman here. Last week was Target Fall Geek Out, where you can hear even more rants about Batwoman, if that's even possible. So I've been Benjamin David, telling you to go above and Batman Beyond.